All right, members, we have a quorum. It's about time to make a start. Item number 1, confirmation of the minutes of the 14th meeting held on January the 18th. We have received no proposed amendments. Can I take the minutes as confirmed? Thank you. Matters arising. When we met the CS, we had the views that members should be given more time for conducting district consultation when scheduling the motion of thanks debate. And we also asked whether the policy address will henceforth be delivered in January. The CS said that the administration will have a look at the implications on resource allocation and the budget and so on before deciding on the exact date. Well, the system seems to be in trouble. Did you ask her? We used to have the policy address in October and the budget in March, and now it's been shifted to February because of the NPCSC and the CPPCC. And now this has been shifted, and we are left with just a couple of weeks to make preparation. Well, there were 3 occasions on which the policy address was delivered in January. Yes, there are some reasons why there is a gap. Why don't they deliver the budget and the policy address all in one go? Well, the CS said that they haven't quite decided whether it should be delivered in January, but she said that they will have a look at the resource allocation and the budget and what the implications there are on these if the policy address is delivered in January. Will they consult councillors? Oh, I'm sure that they will conduct an internal review, and we can have a word with her and see whether there will be consultation. Well, I think they should consult us. They should listen to what members have to say. The last thing I want to see is to present us with a final decision. This has to do with the council. It is incumbent upon them to consult us. Yes, I'll relay your message. Ms. Ho, Chairman. At the beginning of the term, the administration shifted the policy address from October to January. The rationale being that we had the change of a term for the administration and electrical, and the CE could not consult the political parties. That's why there was a shift to January. We thought that it should not be the case. There should be a big enough gap between the PA and the budget. And the budget should be there to give effect to the policy address ideas. Now they are so close together, there is a limited room for discussion. It would not be a good idea for discussions to take place here, and the link has also been weakened. That they shifted the policy address to January not because of resources and so on. I must make it very clear that the policy address should be delivered in October instead of January. I hope you would relate the message to the CS that after 1997 there used to be a progress report. That's the copious volume. I just went down to the library to have a look, and we had also the policy agenda, also a very copious volume. Now, in this policy address, there is no progress report, no dates, no figures, only this policy address alone. Now, when the Policy Bureau came along, the HAB gave us just a couple of pages, but subsequently the Development Bureau gave us a longer paper. So I hope that you would relate to the CS that next year in the policy address, they should give us a clear account of the progress of the initiatives. Yes, I'll relay this message. Any further question? If not, let's move on to the business for the Council meeting on February the 6th. 20 questions are scheduled. Bills, first reading and moving of second reading. We have the Pesticides Amendment Bill 2013. The administration has given notice to present the above bill to the Council on February the 6th, and we will consider the bill at our meeting on February the 8th. Government motion, there is no notice there. Members' motion. There are two motions, one on developing a new Northland Tower by Mr. Chan Han-pan, the other one on increasing the business floor areas of the retail industry by Mr. Vincent FANG. The deadline for giving notice of amendments to the motions is 30th of January on Wednesday. The 30th of January. Is it a Wednesday? Report on study of subsidiary legislation. A list containing 6 items of subsidiary legislation, the period for amendment of which will expire on February the 6th, has been tabled at the meeting. Please be reminded that if you wish to speak, please indicate your intention by 12 midnight on Tuesday, 29th of January. Report of Bills Committees and Subcommittees. Report of the Subcommittee on Minimum Wage Ordinance Amendment of Schedule 3, Notice 2012, and Employment Ordinance Amendment of 9th Schedule Notice 2012. Mr. Tam Yu-jong. Chairman, thank you. The Subcommittee has completed the scrutiny of 2 pieces of subsidiary legislation to do with minimum wage. We've had 2 meetings with the administration. At one of the meetings, we met 16 deputations and individuals for their views. During the discussion, we talked about the level of statutory minimum wage and the considerations in arriving at the SMW, as well as the implications on the employer and the employee. Also, we discussed the timetable for review of the SMW going forward. All the details are set out in the report. I don't want to bore members with minute details. The subcommittee will not move any amendments. Thank you. Questions? If not, the deadline for amending the notices is February the 6th. The deadline for giving notice of amendments is Wednesday, January the 30th. Members cannot make any amendment, although you can revoke the entire notice. All right, moving on to the position of bills, committees, and subcommittees. Please refer to CB2 540/12 to 13. As of January the 24th, there are 2 bills committees, 6 subcommittees under the House, and 7 subcommittees on policy issues under panels that are currently in action. There are 2 subcommittees that are on the waiting list on policy issues. Questions? If not, let's move on to the proposal for activation of the subcommittee on retirement protection under the panel on welfare services. Please refer to paper CB2 541/12 to 13. Mr. Chung Fok-chi. Chairman, thank you. The Commission on Poverty will look into retirement protection. We thought that the subcommittee on poverty set up under the House could follow up on the matter, or we can set up a separate subcommittee under the panel to follow up the matter, bearing in mind that the former subcommittee made many wonderful recommendations. There is a suggestion that within this term we should follow up the matter with the administration. So we have decided to set up this subcommittee on retirement protection under the panel. we noticed that the number of subcommittees on policy issues has reached 8. That's a maximum, and our committee will be put on the waiting list. And we cannot activate the subcommittee unless and until one of the 8 subcommittees has completed its work. So we'd like to make a request with the House Committee for the subcommittee on retirement protection to get on with its work as soon as possible. Thank you. Any comments? Two minutes, please. Mr. Tang, please. Chairman, thank you. I'm reading the paper, CB2, paragraph 7. It says that if the number of subcommittees is below 16, then we can consider it. So I'm wondering whether you would exercise your discretion to allow the subcommittee to be activated. Between November and January, we have a bit of a gap, and despite the 8 subcommittees, I'm wondering whether we can have some flexibility, because for the next half of the year there will be a lot more committees being formed, and there is still a bit of a gap there until we reach the limit of 16. Right, to answer your question first, it's not for me to exercise the discretion. It's entirely up to fellow members to take the decision. It's beyond my remit to do what you suggest that I do. We have liaised with the Secretariat and the administration. In fact, coming up there will be 13 bills that will be introduced to the floor of the Council. They are in the legislative program. And the Secretariat has liaised with the panels. There are in fact 8 that are coming along. Before May there will be 4. If you refer to Schedule 2, they are coming on the way. There is an issue of an abolition of appointment system in the district councils mentioned in the policy address. So I cannot see, having discussed with the Secretariat, how we can squeeze any more manpower. The welfare panel has already set up a subcommittee. Of course, one is under the House in the form of the subcommittee on poverty, and there is also this other one on long-term care, which has been activated. So your team simply cannot cope. There is a need for extra resources to be roped in. Now we have a very fine tradition now of having the council meetings extending to the next day. So we are really very stretched with our manpower. I cannot see any further room for an extension. Mr. Ip Kwa Him, Chairman, thank you. The DAB feels that at this point in time, we are getting on with our work. Mr. Tang Ka-piu made the point a moment ago, and you have responded to that. I don't have anything else to add. But since there is a quota of 8, we have to abide by the quota, because we can always have 8 plus 1, 8 plus 2, and 8 plus 3. Now, of course, we wouldn't make the proposal unless we see the need for it. Now, this one being proposed has been agreed on by the welfare panel, but I think we have to abide by the decision of the Council, of the House Committee. If we ignore the quota of 8 and keep increasing the number, then the Secretariat, or even indeed fellow councillors, might find it difficult to cope. Now, the subcommittees or the panels tend to invite deputations rather a lot, and the subcommittees would do likewise, and this is no less in terms of workload than a panel. So I would suggest that our subcommittee will get on with their work and make available the vacant slots for other subcommittees in the waiting list. I think if we can pressurize ourselves to get on with the work, it would be better. So the DAB doesn't subscribe to the idea of relaxing the quota. Since we have the quota of 8, we have to buy it, and we have to operate within the constraints here.
Mr. Ho, Chairman. Now, of course, my usual attitude is that if members want to do something, then we should try to give them our support. But then we do understand the workload of the Secretariat, and also we've set a quota of 8. And also, if there are several subcommittees under one panel, then that team of colleagues will have a very heavy workload. So we need to bear in mind the quota or the ceiling of 8, and also we shouldn't have too many subcommittees operating under one panel. Chairman, I think that there is a problem with my microphone. I think there is a problem with mine as well. I agree with members and that we should stick to the quota of 8. We, in fact, this quota has been arrived at in consultation with the Secretariat, and I think we should stick to this quota. But then, can I ask the SG this question? And that is whether in the foreseeable future, say in the next financial year, there will be an increase in the establishment of the Secretariat, so that in the next financial year we can have more than 8 as the quota. Yes, Chairman. I thank members for their understanding. Within this session, the workload of the Secretariat is extremely heavy. As to whether we will increase the establishment to provide better service to members, now, of course, there is a process to go through in order to get extra resources. So in the summer this year, we will bid for additional resources in the resource allocation exercise. But then new resources won't be available till April 2014. And of course, every year, when we bid for resources in the RAE, we take into account the workload of the council, our present establishment, and also the extra resources that we need. And so before we put our bids to the administration, we'll go to the Electoral Commission first for approval. And so to answer Ms. Emily Lau's question, we will carry out a comprehensive review later, and we will seek the approval of the Electoral Commission. It's good that when the SG was speaking, the time, the clock stopped ticking. So it seems that there won't be good news for us in the upcoming budget. So you will take part in the next RAE, and new resources will be available in the next budget. That's the earliest the earliest time. Yes, the member is correct. Mr. Ronnie Tong. Now I note that the WS panel has more subcommittees operating under it, but I can understand why this is the case, because WS panel deals with livelihood matters, and so I think the SG should make available more resources to support the work of the panel. I think the other panels do not have so many subcommittees, and I think more resources should be made available for the Welfare Services panel. Now, members of the WS panel are concerned about livelihood issues. And so I think if some of the subcommittees under the panel can accelerate their work and complete their work, then there will be a vacancy available for this subcommittee. Mr. Wong Kwok-hin, can you hear me? We want to set up a subcommittee on retirement protection. Now, I think retirement protection is an urgent issue for discussion in this council and in society. But of course, we do understand and respect members' views, and we are sympathetic towards the Secretariat. We understand that the Secretariat is very busy, and so will not insist. But then, as Mr. Ronnie Tong has rightly pointed out, subcommittees in operation should try to accelerate their work so that vacant slots will be made available for the new subcommittee to start its work. All right, let me summarize members' views. I think we have no alternatives but to stick to the quota of 8, so this subcommittee will have to wait. So may I appeal to other subcommittees in operation to speed up their work so that after they have completed their work, then there will be vacant slots for other subcommittees for this one. And in fact, there is another subcommittee waiting to be activated. All right? AOB. There's one thing. In the morning today, at the Bills Committee of the 2012 Stamp Duty Amendment Bill, under Section 83A of the ROP, members asked whether there was a need to make a declaration on the same interest every time they speak. I understand that during the last term, the CMI did review the matter. And I think the CMI of this term can follow up on this issue because for the company's bill, there will be a need for members to declare their interest. So this is just a reminder for members. No AOB items. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.